Richard in California wants to talk about how water has a collective conscious.
Oh, this should be fun.
Well, welcome, Richard. How are you?
How you doing? Good.
Pretty good. I'm
more.
not aware that water has anything that could be conscious at all, let alone a collective conscious. So how do we get to there?
Dr. Iamoto was a physicist from Japan, and he wrote a book about it.
So what?
Okay. I have a pamphlet up here with all kinds of pseudoscience, batshit crazy stuff that people have written all the time. What I asked was, how do we get to demonstrate this? Not how did you hear about it?
Dr. Iamoto was it was given to me at the Theosophical Society in Ojai.
Still didn't answer the question. Gwyneth
Yeah.
Paltrow has a whole website full of this type of stuff. It doesn't mean any of it's true. I mean, you can have people with degrees saying crazy things. It doesn't mean they're right.
Yeah, I'm only going to ask this one more time. How do we demonstrate that water has consciousness?
Okay, so water molecules look like snowflakes underneath the microscope, and there are all types of different patterns of snowflakes. And so his experiment was he put a word next to a glass of water, put in like a turkey baster, pull out a sample of water, look underneath the microscope after about 5 minutes. And if it was a positive word, the snowflake was radiating and magnified and reaching for more light. And if you put a negative word next to the water, he put the turkey baster in, pull it out, look underneath the microscope, and the water molecules would be fractured.
What? I'm so curious what journal this was published in.
So the water was responding to the words.
Uh-huh.
You're talking about Dr. Emoto, right?
Dr. Iamoto, yes.
Yeah. Iamoto. Oh, I thought you were talking about Masaru Emoto.
Dr. Iamoto. He's dead now. So.
Okay. Well,
it'd be really cool to get him on the air and have a conversation with him, but
it would be really cool, except that I've heard this story before about water molecules and putting up words next to them, and when they freeze and they form certain crystals. My understanding is that this has been debunked as pseudoscience. Have there been any peer-reviewed studies that confirmed this at all?
The word you just used, pseudoscience?
Yes.
Chiropractic medicine falls underneath that.
I agree that
Yes.
a good chunk of chiropractic medicine falls underneath pseudoscience, and it should not be called medicine, and it should not be used for any treatment. I agree. Thank you. Anything else?
Yeah. So like Reiki, the
Yep. Reiki is absolute bullshit. So is reflexology and a number of things. All of these things you're referencing are just as bullshit as water with consciousness.
But okay, so you're calling it bullshit, but you don't know that it's bullshit.
Oh, yes, I do. See,
yeah.
I know that it has absolutely continually failed to demonstrate any sort of efficacy. Now, that doesn't mean that it's not true, but when I say it's bullshit, what I mean is people keep claiming that it's real, and no one has been able to demonstrate that it can actually do what they say they can do. That's true for homeopathy, Reiki, etc.
I want to go back to my question, where this guy publishes a book. Anyone can publish a book. I say this as someone who has published a book. Where was this paper of his conscious water consciousness paper published? Yeah, who is looking at it? Who is giving it a stamp of approval here?
It's irrelevant.
Oh.
It's so not irrelevant.
It's
Anyone
really
can
not.
publish a book with any crap inside. There's entire businesses built on crap. But science, specifically, where's the peer review here?
Is it fiction or nonfiction? Is Lord of the Rings fiction or nonfiction?
Is what fiction or nonfiction?
Fiction or nonfiction?
There's a thing where your audio is ducking. So if you try to talk while I'm talking, I'm not going to hear a thing you say. What are you asking me, whether or not it's fiction or nonfiction?
Is Lord of the Rings fiction or nonfiction? I took you off speaker, so that takes away the echo.
Good. You should have never had me on speaker. I should hang up on you just for having me on fucking speaker. Lord of the Rings is fiction. What does that have to do with anything? I guess it doesn't have anything. I guess it doesn't have anything to do with anything. We'll just move on to another call.
Yeah.